All right, so I just want to welcome everyone to our New Earth Cooperative, which is a new gathering. I switched it from World Healing Service because I didn't want to focus on what's going wrong with the world. I want to focus on what we need to create a new world, to create our new bodies for the new world. And so I have changed it, the focus of it, to New Earth Cooperative. And today we're going to be speaking about embodying your divine genetic gifts and powers. And so first off, I would like to just call in my support team, Mother Sophia, Mother Gaia, Divine Feminine, and Masculine Ascended Masters, and the Archangels, Solar and Galactic, who are working with us. I like to call in the Christ and give gratitude for the Christ codes, which have been birthed through me as a divine gift for humanity and a great blessing for us. And today I'm going to be speaking about the Christ codes and how they can help us embody our divine genetic qualities and gifts. And first off, before we can even begin speaking about that, I just wanted to say that, what are our divine qualities? They are what we have received from Mother. We are a blueprint of divine source, and we are given her all of her powers. We are omniscient. We are omnipotent. We are all-knowing, all-powerful, and all-present, omnipresence. And yet we are born into a state of amnesia, and we're not really aware of those qualities. And through a lot of pain and suffering, we eventually awaken to the fact that there's something more that is going on with us. In fact, we are born with an intuitive knowing that we are greater than what we are told we are. Throughout life, we are, led to believe that we came from sin, that in my own upbringing, I was told I was stupid and I wasn't going to go far in life. And I believed it, I really believed it for a lot of years. And so once we become aware of that, then the first step is to activate our divine genome by actually commanding that it be activated. That is the first step to activating our powers. The second step is to call in our higher self, because our higher self is the medium through which Source speaks to us, through which our soul speaks to us, and so it's guiding us in our divine genetic blueprint. And so as a soul, we are born with all the qualities of Mother Sophia. Now I call Source Sophia because I believe God is a woman. And if you look at nature, all life basically either comes through the female form or it's an immaculate conception. It's where the female is able to impregnate the egg and actually does not need the male form for that. So I believe that for my own knowing that Source is a woman, and she gives us all her divine qualities, but she also gives us a specific genome for our individual soul birthing. So there is a call that comes out from creation for the next evolutionary step that is needed within creation. And Mother hears that call and responds to it and births a soul to bring in that quality or to evolve our consciousness into another level. And so although we have her qualities, we have our unique genetic qualities that we are gifted with, and we need to wake up to what those gifts are. Every one of us has a unique quality that we want to bring to the earth, and so when we start activating that genome, we're going to be activating those gifts as well. And one way to identify those gifts is through your passion. What are you passionate about in life? All right, so when we start activating our divine gifts, it's because we want to embody the Christ energy. And the Christ energy is an energy that comes through the center of our sun, and it has the ability to awaken that genome within our DNA. So that genome is latent. It's latently embedded within our DNA. And so we need something to awaken it. And so, like I said, part of it is asking for the activation. The other part is to have tools to stimulate that activation. Now, the Christ codes are one of those tools that has been given to humanity to help us activate those genetic divine qualities. And the Christ codes has a language, and the language is based off a vertical alignment, working with the numbers 369. And if you're familiar with Nikola Tesla, he said that 369 was really the magical numbers of the universe. And as I explored the Christ codes, I actually saw that the codes themselves are in direct relationship to 369. The 3 is the number for the divine masculine, and the 6 is the number for the divine feminine. And if you take those two qualities and add them together, you get 9. And 9 in numerology means completion. So when we take the 3 and the 6 and we bring it into singularity or completion, then we have that alignment with source, which then allows us to access these divine genetic gifts and powers that are embedded within our DNA. Now, in our regular language, our language is designed to build off the carbon atom. And the carbon atom is the first, or it's the primary element in physical reality that is part of physical reality. It's the main atom. And so the number for the atom is 666, and the carbon atom. And our language actually stimulates that carbon-based reality into manifestation. Now, in my Christ Codes Basics workshop, I really go into in-depth explanation as to how that happens and how you can calculate that out. For today, I'm not going to really go into that. So, but basically what I wanted to say about it is that it works off horizontal energies, and horizontal energies are polar opposites, which are, again, our divine feminine, our divine masculine. And we either relate to that as, you know, good or bad, right or wrong. And we base our whole concept of third dimensional reality off of these polarities. And so the language itself is building off of that. Whereas the Christ Codes works with a vertical alignment where we're aligning with our higher self, our soul, our heart, and with Mother Earth. And we're creating this vertical alignment through the unification of the divine feminine and the divine masculine through a divine marriage. And through that vertical alignment, we are going into the heart. The heart is the doorway into our divine genetic genome and into our source connection with Mother Sophia herself. And so that alignment is really, that vertical alignment is really going into inner space, you might say, is the relationship that the Christ Codes is leading us into. So the language itself is designed to speak to our crystalline light body, which is the new body that we're building for our new earth. And it is based off a fifth dimensional reality. So in the fifth dimension is really a faster dream reality. So in our third dimensional dream reality, everything is very slow. And even though we are manifesting vehicles and everything that we think, say, and do is manifested into 3D reality, it happens at a much slower rate. So we may say or think or do something, and it may take a period of time for that reality to actually appear, to manifest in front of us. But in the fifth dimension, the dream reality is instantaneous. And if you have recalled any of your dream, the dream switches automatically. And so why that happens is when you focus your attention on anything, you're bringing yourself into singularity. You're bringing your focus into a singular point. And it's through singularity that we actually create. So in the dream world, for instance, I have a dream where I was looking at a photograph. And in the dream, it was a picture of a rice paddy, and I was talking to some people, and they were holding this photograph of a tiger. And so I started looking at the tiger, and as I looked at the tiger, I was sent into that scene where the tiger was at. And now the dream was that river scene with the tiger, and I now started having a communication with the tiger. So that's what I mean when we manifest instantly. Whatever focus we have in fifth dimension is immediately manifested into physical reality. So for us to be able to operate at that level of creation, we need to really kind of clean up our act in the third dimension first, so that we are not creating a world of chaos and negativity like we see here on Earth right now. So, and part of that, all that chaos comes about from humanity being connected to a mass consciousness, where we are taught from the minute we're born that we are limited beings, that to have a direct connection with source, we have to go through a priest or a rabbi or a minister. We're told that if we want to be healthy, we have to go to see a doctor. If we want to have a healthy body, we need to eat a certain diet. So we have all these ways that we place ourselves into boxes and create through limited thinking, through being conditional in all of our actions. And fifth dimensional reality is really connecting through unconditional love to our heart space and creating in a flow. So what happens is when we move into singularity, we become that divine instrument where source can communicate to us instantaneously and in the moment, and we are just being receptive, the receptive vessel for her divine guidance. Okay, so I wanted to speak a little bit about the universe as a hologram. Now, the universe is really a reflection of Source herself. And when we're born as a soul and we come into manifestation, we don't come into one embodiment at one time. We come into multi manifestations at once. And in the manifestation of the whole body, we are working in a field of potential. So there is this wave action that is happening, and science has kind of demonstrated how that works. They've done an experiment where they create a slit of energy. They create a slit, and then they project particles through that slit, and they assume that on the other side of that slit that they're going to find particles lining up in a row behind it. And so they performed the experiment, and of course that is what they saw. But then they decided to do a second slit. So there was two slits, and they shot particles through both of them, and they expected to see two slits on the other side. And they were surprised to find out that there weren't two slits, there were multiple rows of lines that were happening. And what they realized is that when the particles go through a point in space, that they create a wave action. And so this wave action is they hit each other and they create a second wave, and then that wave creates another wave. And so it's this infinite wave action that is going out into the universe. And it is really what we would call the field of potential. So in the universe itself, there is a field of potential. And until we focus our attention on a certain point, everything is a potential. So when we start focusing on naming something, let's say like in third dimensional reality, we are then bringing it into singularity, and we are creating from that space. But if we're in a negative space, then we're going to be creating from that negative, we're going to be creating negative energy instead of a positive or creative solution to our third dimensional reality. So when we activate our divine genetics using the Christ codes, we're actually focusing our attention into the crystalline light body, which is then activating our fifth dimensional reality and creating from there. And it's a higher frequency of energy. So I don't know if you've ever read books like the Celestine Prophecy. They talked about when you're operating at a higher frequency of energy, that you actually are invisible at a lower frequency of energy. And I've actually had that experience where I've been in a room, sitting there in a group of people, and people walked into the door and they just kind of looked past me. And they're people I knew. And I thought that was kind of strange that no one was acknowledging that I was there. And then a half hour later, they come over to me and said, "Have you been sitting there all that time?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I've been here the whole time." And what I realized is that I was operating at a different frequency than they were, and so they couldn't see me. And so that's pretty much what is happening when we're working with the Christ codes. We are bringing in higher frequencies of energy, of Christ light, and activating our divine genetics. And from that activation, we start building a light body for our embodiment in fifth dimensional physical reality. And in that physical dimension, we are creating our new earth. So we can't really fix our problems here on earth in third dimensional reality using what we have available to us. There's no way to fix what is going on in third dimensional reality. The only thing you can do is just, I'm going to say, divorce yourself from it, because it's all designed to pull you back into a lower frequency. And if you stay in that lower frequency, you're not going to be able to activate your higher centers, and you're not going to be able to build the new earth and create miracles for that new earth by embodying the higher aspects of yourself. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how, what I see going on in society right now is there's this whole energetic that where we're being kept in a state of fear, with all these announcements of war and calamities and earth disasters, and it really just keeps everyone in a perpetual state of fear, where it keeps our frequency at a very low rate. And when we start cutting those cords, you might say, and unplug ourselves from the television and the politics and all the things that we do to divert our attention from what's really happening in our universe, which is us. We are the universe. When we start doing that, then we can really begin to entertain from a clear field what source is wanting us to create in the moment, because we do have that blueprint that's embedded within us for us to create something here on earth. So the perfect state that we want to get to is the empty field of the mind. So the mind is best utilized when it's clear, when it's a clear space. Now we're used to thinking of our mind as an instrument for computing things or analyzing things, and that's what we were taught as we were growing up in school. We were taught to really use the mind as an analytical device. But the analytical mind is really designed for our 3D consciousness, and a mind that is going to work with fifth dimensional consciousness is a mind that is a clear slate. So when we go into meditation and we quiet the mind and we become receptive to source, then we clear the field, so to speak, so that we can be the empty vessel to receive from source what it is that we need to do to change our world, to heal whatever is coming up in our field for the energetics that we have taken on in third dimensional reality that keep us from being open to receiving from source. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the 4 stages of meditation, because I think that a lot of us have learned meditation as just going in and going into a place of silence. But for me, I believe I've practiced meditation as a 4-fold system. And the system is prayer is the first step in meditation, because prayer is going to open your heart. And that's what we need to do to have a communion with source, is to have an open heart. And the next stage of meditation is to then go within to the heart space and quiet the mind. And when we quiet the mind, like I said, we then clear the field for us to receive from source what it is that we need to do in that moment. And maybe it's nothing. Maybe we just need to experience the quietness of having that connection with source, that heart connection. And then the next step in meditation is concentration. So when you get to that empty field, a lot of times things will show up that have been bothering you, and it's a time to be the witness and to actually view what is coming up as like almost like a movie screen, showing you what is like out of alignment in your life. And as the witness, we have that perspective that is no longer attached to the outcome, because now we're just watching it as a movie. And then after we get to that place of the witness, then it usually brings up questions or desire to know more about whatever it is that we're experiencing. And that's where the contemplation level of meditation comes in, where we actually start asking questions and connecting to the divine innocence of that inner child within us that is very curious about the universe and what is appearing now for us to create with or to heal. So that is one of the tools that we need to activate the divine genome. And the other one, like I said, is the Christ codes, which is the language that's going to help us to embody our fifth dimensional light body, but also a language to help us communicate directly to the cells of our bodies what it is that needs to be healed. So to heal our world, to heal ourselves, we have to heal ourselves first, basically. And so when we're in meditation, like I said, whatever is out of sync is now going to come up for us to look at. And I think it was in 2016, the energetics of the planet were shifted so that Mother Earth is no longer supporting third dimensional reality on an energetic level. So what does that mean is that all the energies that we hold in the first 3 chakras, which is basically our third dimensional reality, all those energies are now coming up for us to deal with. And because there is no energetic platform, the energy that you see going on in the planet is basically all that energy rising up to be dealt with. So in the past, what we would do is we have our oversoul, we have our soul, and we have an undersoul. So when the soul is born, like I said, we have our divine genetic makeup, and then we are sent out into the field in multidimensional forms to experience life and to experience all the different aspects of ourselves, and to learn how to use power and to create with Mother in these various dimensional platforms. So, and then we have the Oversoul, which is the instrument that kind of oversees what each life stream is doing in terms of bringing in its divine genetic blueprint. And then we have the Undersoul, which is the energy that is created when we don't act through our heart. And so whenever we act through an unloving, conditional place, we are creating a shadow energy. And so all those shadow energies are coming up for us to deal with. And an example of that would be when we have an eclipse. We have the solar energy or the moon, they're crossing one another and they're creating a shadow. And when that shadow happens, the energetics of the planet itself the shadow energy of the planet itself is being brought up for us to look at. So that is a big example on a cosmic level of when the shadow energy is being activated on a cosmic level. But we have that same energetic happening in our own bodies when this third dimensional reality is like taken out from underneath us, and that shadow is now coming up for us to deal with. So the Christ codes are helping us deal with those energies and transform them in a very simple way by using the language to transmute the energy. Now, the Christ code mantra, which some of you have heard before, it's Ak Imu Ovi, is a mantra that is used to unify the divine feminine and the divine masculine parts of our nature. And it is almost like an electromagnetic pulse that shoots through the chakras and clears them out from the root all the way to the crown. And I've seen it on the inner, where it actually looks like a cellular material actually coming out of the chakra system. And that mantra is helping to not only bring up the third dimensional debris that's in your first, second, and third chakras, but it's also taking it all the way up to your other chakras. So we have a chakra system that we relate to as our first 7 chakras as being our physical reality, but we actually have 29 chakras, and the heart chakra, it would be like the source point. And then you have 2 chakras that are above and below that create one whole chakra. So for example, your root chakra is connected to your crown chakra as a sphere of energy, and your sacral chakra is connected to your third eye chakra as a sphere of energy, and your solar plexus and your throat chakra are connected as a sphere of energy. So now that these lower chakras are being dissolved, these energies are coming up, and when we bring ourselves into divine unification, then those 2 chakras, the ones at the bottom that have dissolved, are actually now going to be operating through the upper chakras, which are your throat, your third eye, and your crown. So we're actually kind of getting a new set of chakras, or not even a new set, but they're going to be operating in a new way in the new earth. And so it's important that we clear the field so that we can fully embody our divinity. Because if our chakra system is plugged in with a lot of emotional trauma and debris, things that we have created in third dimensional reality, then our light body cannot fully embody us. And so there's these blockages. And as they're trying to come in, then they're like pushing the energy up for you to deal with. And as this is happening, the Christ codes can actually be used as a tool to speak directly to the cells of your body, to the energies themselves, and to transform those energetics into a unified field where you clear the space, and then you now have an empty field to create something new. And when we clear the field, then our soul's potential and our soul's blueprint is then made known to us in a much clearer fashion, because now that we've basically erased the board, so to speak, then source can now send to us in a way that we can truly receive and hear the messages that we are destined to do here as a race and as an individual. Okay, let me see. So let me see where we are. All right. So I did some codes for us today that I would like to share with you. And the codes are going to assist us to embody our divinity. And this first intention I have is, I consecrate my free will to embody my divinity. And the codes that were created for that intention are Ix, Kais, Now, Su, Ratiz, Mak, Fun, Wiz, Lun, Love, Dej. And I like to sing that for you. I like to sing it 3 times. And then there's a DNA numerical sequence that follows it to help us anchor in that frequency into our DNA. So I'll explain a little bit about that after I do this code. But I'd like to sing it for a few rounds right now. Ix, Kais, Now, Suratiz, Mak, Fun, Wiz, Lun, Bov, Dej. Ix, Kais, Now, Suratiz, Mak, Fun, Wiz, Love, Bov, Dej. Ix, Kais, Now, Suratiz, Mak, Fun, Wiz, Lun, Bov, Dej. And the numerical sequence to anchor that into your body is 981, 398, 565, 175, 935, 298, 468, 635, 598, 335, 234, 451. And again, if you want to empower that more with the statement, I consecrate my free will to embody my divinity, that is what the code is basically saying to your crystalline light body. And I also have a daily prayer that I'd like to share with you. I call upon my Holy Spirit to prepare the way for grounding heavenly solutions and realities on earth. And the code for that is Ix, Kais, Lun, Pit, Now, Tiz, Hitsura, Wiz, Gao, Vix. Ix, Kais, Lun, Pit, Now, Tiz, Hitsura, Wiz, Gao, Vix. Ix, Kais, Lun, Pit, Now, Tiz, Hitsura, Wiz, Gao, Vix. And the numerical sequence for that is 981, 398, 335, 792, 765, 298, 894, 175, 395, 598, 735, 496. And then I'd like to take us into a short meditation where we are aligning with our hearts. And I'd like you to just feel the energy from Mother Sophia flowing down into your crown center, down through your third eye, into the chalice of your heart, where there is a gold cup of pure spring water overflowing, flowing down your spinal column, down into the earth. into the star tetrahedron of Mother Gaia Sophia. Beautiful Merkabah, which is spinning in its golden white light. We are anchoring our whole energetic system into Mother Earth. And now we're raising that energy back up into our heart center, to our Merkabah star that's within it. And we're expanding our star to totally encompass our bodies, seeing golden white, beautiful crystalline white light shimmering all around us. And your Merkabah is beginning to spin, and just let it spin whatever direction it wants to go in. And just be in the field, in that empty space where divine knowing and healing exists. And just let your cares of the day just melt away. And just feel the love of Mother Sophia Gaia embracing you. The love of Mother Sophia above, descending upon you. And you're surrounded in a white pillar of light, connecting you from heaven above down to earth below. And we are calling in your crystalline light body for activation. And I'm now going to sing the Christ Code mantra to align us and to clear the field of any energetic residue. Ak imu ovi, 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 ak imu ovi. The Christ and I are one. The Christ and I are one. Ak imu ovi, 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 ak imu ovi. The Christ resides within. The Christ resides within. Ak imu ovi, 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 ak imu ovi. And I like to end that with the Christ is the light of my soul. And I want to thank everyone for being here today for this New Earth Cooperative. I hope that the Christ Codes are going to bless your life. And if you would like to know more about the Christ Codes, I am doing a workshop called the Christ Codes Basics Workshop, which is currently in process as we speak. And it's available at a discounted price right now. So you could go to the Christ Codes website at christcodes.com and get all the information you need about that. And that is it. We are going to be gathering here next month on the second Sunday of the month. So that is going to be, that'll be August 12th. So I hope you will join us again for the New Earth Cooperative, and I will announce before the meeting what the focus of our gathering will be about. So thank you one and all, and may you have a very blessed and holy day.